What's going on, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Wrestling with Maldo podcast. Thanks for tuning in and watching this show. So, the further we move into the year, it's already the middle of January. Almost the first month of the year is over again. And just like that, we're full blast into 2024. With that, of course, that means we're just getting closer and closer to the Royal Rumble Premium Live event. And that just brings a lot of questions. Because, of course, now we have this juicy fatal four-way between Randy Orton, LA Knight, AJ Styles, and Roman Reigns for the WWE Undisputed Championship. Which that in itself is going to be like, it's just one of those things where it's like, yeah, like I can't see Roman losing the title anywhere else but WrestleMania. However, the odds are really stacked up against him because he's got three pretty top guys in that match with him. And even if Solo Sikoa and Jimmy Uso, decide to intervene and get involved in some type of way, I mean, you're still competing against three other dudes. So, if anything, it would just turn into 3v3. So, it's going to be very interesting to see what they're actually going to do and how they're going to do this. Like, I think it's still a safe bet, like 85 to 90% or so, to say that Roman is going to win it. However, I mean, is it possible for anyone else to win it? Yeah. And if it were to be someone else besides Roman Reigns, I'd probably put my money on Randy Orton winning the title. And the reason I say this is mainly because of Cody Rhodes. Because Cody Rhodes, he's going to have something to do for WrestleMania. And besides Roman Reigns, which I don't think there's just enough history, even though they already had one match. Like, I just don't see it. However, Randy Orton, though, like, I see there's a lot of history there. There's definitely a good storyline behind it if they were to pursue that. So, if Randy Orton were to win the championship, that would be actually an amazing opponent for Cody Rhodes, because that would open up a whole different storyline for both of them, which would be pretty top notch. And then I think that would also give kind of open the how do you say it? It would kind of open the creative aspect for the feud between Roman Reigns and The Rock, because let's face it, I don't think The Rock is going to win the championship against Roman Reigns. So, because like it just wouldn't make sense. Let's say he wins the championship, he comes back, wins the championship, shows up at a couple live events, and does a couple, maybe one or two pay-per-views, and then he loses the title and then he's gone again. Kind of how it happened back in 2013, 2014. So, I don't know. Do I enjoy seeing The Rock? Of course. The most electrifying superstar in history. But we already have a part-time champion in Roman Reigns. We don't need another. I would much rather prefer someone who's there consistently, have the title, and then will just move away from all this part-time nonsense. Same thing goes for Logan Paul. Like I said in my previous video, I wish LA Knight was the one facing him because it would be a nice Billboard title megastar versus superstar or whatever Logan Paul calls himself. So, but Kevin Owens works too, and I just hope that Kevin Owens wins it. Just cause I'm not fond of these part-timers. Like I like having them there. I like them performing and and bringing fans over to wrestling. I really do like that. However, I don't like how they are put into these championship matches when in reality they're just not going to be there. And it's just really annoying and frustrating for us fans who watch it. So that's just my opinion on that. I think it's time for full-time superstars to win the championships, at least for a couple years, because we've had Roman Reigns now being champion for what? Technically almost 5 calendar years. And throughout those 5 calendar years, his attendance has dropped drastically. So I think it's just time to bring an era where it's just active superstars winning championships so they can actually, bring those over to live events and house shows and whatnot. Because realistically, if you look at it, the most hardcore, the most loyal fans that WWE has are the ones that show up to the house shows, and it's kind of a slap in the face when the champions don't show up because it's beneath them or whatever the case may be. So I think it's just time for that change. And like, those matches are pretty important. Of course they are. However, we do still have the Royal Rumble. And we all know the Royal Rumble always comes with some type of surprise. And like, I've seen some ideas floating around on the internet. Some of them say that Bad Bunny maybe in the Royal Rumble, that he may show up. Like, yeah, that would be fun and cool, but like, let's be real. Like, he's obviously not going to win it, and two, probably going to be one-time attendance, and then he's going to be gone again because obviously he's not a wrestler. Although he did pretty good in the past. So that just opens the window for who WWE would like to bring back. Of course, I wouldn't mind Matt Cardona, formerly known as Zack Ryder. If he would show up, I think that would be hilarious. However, not hilarious, it would be amazing because he's built so much steam after leaving or being fired from the WWE and then going into the indies. Like, he's really outdone himself. Like, he's really one of, like, the top guy in indie wrestling, in my opinion. And having him come back in the Royal Rumble would actually be pretty awesome to see. Now, and I've thought about this scenario quite a bit because I don't want to put a number to it, but let's be conservative. So I want to say at least 70% of WWE fans do not follow wrestling outside of WWE. So realistically, if Matt Cardona were to return and his entrance music hits, the pop's probably not going to be that great because people are not going to know his entrance music. So, in my opinion, of course, if they show the name right away, then maybe most fans will put two and two together. But in my opinion, what they should do if he comes back, they should start his entrance with the woo 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 and then hit his music, because everyone, as soon as you hear the woo woo woo, as soon as you hear that, you know exactly who it's going to be. And then once you hear the music, like, the music will be irrelevant at that point, because then you can use your new music, but everyone's going to know, oh, it's it's Zack Ryder. So, but he did say he wants to come back, if he comes back, as Matt Cardona, because he said the Zack Ryder thing is dead. He said that in a different interview that I saw of him, and I agree. I like, let him come back as Matt Cardona. That would be awesome. But I think they should at least do that entrance music, just so people can have the pop, or just so that he can have the pop, because realistically, people are not going to recognize his new entrance music. So having that from when he was a WWE superstar, I think that's going to bring fans back, and they're going to realize, oh yeah, this guy, awesome. So it's going to be interesting to see. Of course, you got a bunch of other former superstars that have recently left, like Dolph Ziggler, formerly or now known as Nick Nemeth, and then you got Matt Riddle. You got a bunch of guys who are still in the wrestling scene. However, I like Nick Nemeth. He just signed with TNA. He just showed up to their first pay-per-view after changing back to TNA wrestling. So, which realistically doesn't technically matter, because when it comes to AEW, TNA, and GCW, whatever wrestling promotion you wanna mention, those are all true wrestling companies that honor the independent contractor system. So they can all show up and cross perform on each other's platforms, where it doesn't matter. Like, you can be on AEW one night, you can show up on TNA the next, and then you can go to some other indie league, New Japan Wrestling, or whatever it may be, the following week. It doesn't matter. Whereas, of course, WWE, it is a exclusive. If you sign with WWE, thou shall not perform elsewhere. Which, I mean, if that's the way it is, that's fine, because clearly WWE has more than enough going on itself. And clearly, most wrestling superstars, they all want to end up at WWE, because big leagues, obviously. But WWE is only so big, so there's only so much room for really top tier superstars, main card superstars. So that's where the issues run into. However, going back to Matt Riddle, Nick Nemeth, formerly known as Dolph Ziggler, I don't think they're gonna show up at the Royal Rumble, because I think their departure is still too fresh. Would it be cool? Absolutely, but I don't think we're at the point yet where their comeback is imminent or expected. And then, of course, there's all these random Hall of Famers that show up every once in a while in the Royal Rumbles. For the last couple ones, I think Booker T has been showing up So, like, let's be real. Like Booker T, he's obviously way past his prime, but hearing his entrance music, dude, like he probably has one of the coolest entrance musics from any superstar, just because of the way it starts. Can you dig it, sucker? And then going into his like retro hip hop type music. I just think his entrance music is like top tier in my opinion. Um I don't think I don't think really I'm really having a hard time trying to figure out what type of surprises this Royal Rumble could bring us this year. Um I'm sure if Kofi Kingston is in it, he's going to do some crazy acrobatics where he doesn't get eliminated right away. Although the last couple times was a little subpar. But like if we're being honest, there's really not that much like that I can think of that would show up for the Royal Rumble. And it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to tell because like yeah, there's a lot going on in social media and a lot a lot of rumors and stuff, but like what between rumor and facts, like there's so much discrepancy and the fact that like you never know. You really never know what's actually going to happen. So it's going to be very interesting to see who shows up. Um I don't think there's going to be too many surprises. I think there's going to be a lot of NXT superstars that are going to fill the gaps. Um one that I could think of that would be maybe a uh a fun surprise, maybe Alberto Del Rio. He's still very active in the Mexican wrestling world. And from what I've seen online, like he's still in pretty good shape. So having him just make a surprise appearance, that would actually be kind of cool. And also thinking about it, so you got two pretty big AEW superstars that um well one of them doesn't have a contract anymore, and he used to be with WWE. I'm talking about Andrade. There's talks that he'll be coming back to WWE, so wouldn't be surprised if he shows up in the Royal Rumble. And then of course the former AEW World Champion MJF, after he lost the title to Samoa Joe right before the year ended, it was announced that he's going to be out for a while. Now, does that mean he's going to be out of wrestling for a while? Does that mean he's going to be out of AEW for a while and going to go back? Not sure, but there obviously have been rumors that he's connected to WWE in some type of way, that WWE wants to bring him over, and I don't blame him. MJF is a pretty hot topic. He was the top guy at AEW once Cody Rhodes left. So, and he was the AEW World Champion for I don't even know how long. It felt like forever. So, now he lost the title. Now he's gone from AEW for a while. So, I wouldn't be surprised if that means that he's completely gone from AEW and working on something with WWE to start his WWE career. So, seeing him enter into the Royal Rumble is actually a real possibility. But it all depends, because they're saying he's injured, and which is why he's out. So if that is true, if he actually did get surgery, and is recovering from that, then of course that's probably what's happening. So just checking his Twitter right now, and then seeing, yeah, like, so his Twitter, there's nothing new. Yeah, so it hasn't been updated, at least from him, since December 30th, 2023, and he still had the title. But yeah, I mean, the video they're showing, like, his shoulders taped up, and that's what the all the reports online that I saw said, that he needed shoulder surgery, and he's been putting it off for a while. So I'm not entirely sure. I'm not entirely sure what the deal is there, but if it's I mean, yeah, I mean, it's hard to tell what's show and what's not. So, uh, if I mean, realistically, he could be on his way to WWE. So, and it would be pretty cool to have him at WWE, because especially if Cody Rhodes eventually wins the championship, I think that could be a pretty good rivalry and a storyline for both of them. So it would be pretty cool to see him at WWE, and then, of course, the talks of Andrade coming back to WWE. I'm not entirely sure how all that is going to work out, and like how he's going to fit in. I would assume that they may try to work him in an angle with LWO, maybe, because I, I I'm not entirely sure. I don't see him fitting in elsewhere right now. Um, oh, actually, he could maybe join up with Santos Escobar to fight the LWO. That would be pretty cool if he showed up for that. So yeah, definitely still a lot of questions. Still a lot to figure out. Let's see. We still got 2 weeks. Yeah, we still got 2 weeks until the Royal Rumble, so it's definitely going to be interesting to see what happens from here on out. But personally, like I said, I really would like to see Matt Cardona just come out and join the Royal Rumble. That would be pretty awesome to see, especially with his current entrance music. And like I said, just put in the woo 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 right at the beginning, just so people know, just so he can get a pop, and then do his Matt Cardona music and his Matt Cardona persona. I think that would be way cooler than having him try to do Zack Ryder again. So it's going to be pretty exciting. I actually missed Friday Night SmackDown, so, and I haven't looked at anything online or Bleacher Report or anything, so I literally have no idea what happened. All I know is that um there was a tag team match between uh Randy Orton, AJ Styles, and LA Knight. Then they were gonna face Jimmy Uso and Solo Sikoa, and they had to find a third partner. I have no idea if they actually did. So yeah, I missed all of that. So that's something that I'm gonna have to look into. Which really, I haven't seen anything on social media, because I've obviously been on social media. So I feel like it wasn't that big of a deal if I haven't seen it on social media. But then again, who knows? So yeah. So I'm just pretty excited for the Royal Rumble. Like I said my last show, the Royal Rumble is in my top 2 premium live events to watch always. That and WrestleMania. Because one, the Royal Rumble, I mean, there's so many determining factors that roll into WrestleMania, But one of my favorite parts of the Royal Rumble is the Royal Rumble itself and the surprises it brings. That's why I love watching the Royal Rumble, because, like, especially being a wrestling fan for so long, seeing someone come back from way back when, dude, like that just like rattles the can, you know what I'm saying? So it's just a lot of fun to see them come back and perform again, especially if I haven't seen them in a really, really long time. So with that being said, that's going to be the end of this show. Once again, thanks for all the support, you guys, and I will see you guys next week.